Hello everybody. This week's video is the introduction to the Zentraedi book. Book number 3. In this book we talk about the introduction, a Zentraedi character, and the costs and benefits of micronization. Let's get started. The introduction. Welcome to the Zentraedi, the third book in the Robotech RPG series. The Zentraedi are one of those great villains of all time, the ultimate antagonist. They are a race of 60-foot giants, consumed with conquest and violence. Merciless warriors, they are ruthless in battle and would rather die than acknowledge defeat. Now, this section just goes into a deeper explanation of the Zentraedi. You can pause and read if you want, but basically, they were designed by aliens, therefore they are alien to us. Yes, they are based off of what is essentially human DNA, but they are still, in many ways, not human compared to what our views of what humanity is. But that doesn't mean you can't have good Zentraedi, quote unquote. It's more along the lines that if Zentraedi have seen that humans aren't necessarily an enemy. At least that's my understanding. I still need to actually watch the show. A closer look at the Zentraedi player character. If the GM allows, of course. I personally would, with a caveat, if we're doing heavy mech combat based, you are playing a full-sized Zentraedi. If we're playing more of an RP or espionage based campaign, you're doing micronized. Some of the appeal in playing a full-sized Zentraedi include being giant, having incredible natural strength, and of course, the availability of Zentraedi mecha. Which brings me to the point of why I said you'd have to be full-sized Zentraedi for a mech campaign. Because only a full-sized Zentraedi can pilot a Zentraedi mech, and humans do not allow micronized Zentraedi to pilot human mechs. The disadvantages of playing such a character are not readily apparent, but still exist and could make playing difficult for less experienced players. Now, the rest of this just talks about being in a city, getting enough food. Doesn't talk about clothing, but I think it should because giant-sized clothing, yeah, you're going to need some help with that. So it's just the general things of being a giant in human culture that, as long as you're a good GM or even a good player, pretty easy to figure out. Micronization. The Zentraedi genetic structure is specifically encoded for intentional reduction to human size, micronization. Now, I don't need to go too deep into what this says. It explains what micronization is, but that first sentence kind of says it all. The most important things is that the Zentraedi loses his supernatural strength, but not his MDC, interestingly enough. This little section here just talks about the side effects of being micronized and the side effects of being, once again, full size, and the fact that they are not yo-yos, so you can't do this process infinitely. Of course, the number of transformations versus the effects of how long it's going to take for them to regain their composure after being changed one way to the other. Makes sense, and it's actually kind of fair. I mean, if you want to go back between being big and small, you got to have some penalties for it. Of course, I like how the more times it's happened, the worse it gets for you, too. Note, all RDF micronization facilities have an excellent medical staff on hand at all times. So that tells you, even though in the RDF facilities they have the excellent medical staff, all of these penalties are still accumulative and very dangerous. Keep that in mind if you are a Zentraedi player. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. I've decided to refrain from mentioning what I'm going to be doing next week, simply because a couple of times I did that and realized I was doing things out of order to what I wanted to and then basically lied. So, and with that said, I hope to see you next time. Have a great time till then. Bye.